Well then, passengers, I would recommend you move your way over to the stern of the bow. That is going to be the safest place for a little while at least. Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video, we are back in Floating Sandbox. And today, we are going to be putting some ships up against some waves to see if they'll split in half and or sink. So yeah, let's get into the video. Now, the first ship we're starting out with is the SS France. We've used this ship before, and that's when I set the ship on fire. A link will be in the top right corner to that video. It's pretty interesting. Anyways, we're going to go ahead, we're going to crank up the waves, and we're going to see what happens to the SS France. Alright, so here we've got some massive waves. The SS France is holding up pretty well, however, it is fluctuating in its level here. It's kind of bending a little bit. As you can see, it's actually going all over the place. I'm pretty sure the real ship wouldn't do it this dramatically. You'd have slight variations, but not like this. Oh boy, and there it is, folks. The SS France, within a few seconds, has already had a catastrophic failure right behind the forward funnel. You've got lots of water pouring in. There's really nothing to stop that water. It's just traversing through the vessel, and wow, it is just getting worse. With each wave, it's tearing the ship apart more and more, and I may expect to see a fracture spread down from here possibly, because this is also a weak point in the vessel. Wow, this is actually really surprising that it happened so soon. I mean, I just turned the waves on and it was getting a little wobbly, and then it finally snapped, and you can see the bow is starting to take on so much water at this stage. It's sinking lower and lower, and it's actually pulling the double bottom away from the rest of the ship. As you can see, I'll zoom in right here, you can see it's separated completely, and that's just letting in more water. So this thing may be down under the waves in just a few minutes. We can now see water is entering what I believe to be the main engine room, and hopefully there's no one in that space right now, because yeah, once that room fills, the ship is going to go straight to the bottom. That is a huge space. Back at the bow of the ship, we're already seeing the funnel is starting to fill with water. Water is now crashing over the forecastle deck. It is just a whole mess going on here. You really don't want to be on board this ship, especially when this is happening. Surprisingly, the ship is actually still together. I mean, obviously you have that massive separation down just behind the forward funnel, but you still got the double bottom just holding on barely there, and I think it may hold on until the bow completely fills with water or something else happens, or it might just hold together entirely. We'll see. Now, you may or may not be surprised to know that this does happen frequently with some vessels. I mean, look at a modern example like the MV Arian or Arvin. That ship split in half, kind of V-break style, in waves as well, and went to the bottom. Unfortunately, there was a loss of life with that vessel, and a few other tankers have done this, and obviously you know the theory of Titanic V-breaking. I personally don't believe that, but it's a theory nonetheless, and I'm pretty sure it breaks physics. But anyways, we're here, we're breaking physics again, and we're doing it with the SS France. As you can see, this is quite an interesting event. The stern is coming well out of the water at this stage, and the bow is just barely out of the water, but it is going vertical. At this point, the bow and the stern are just getting closer and closer together, and yeah, somehow we're getting this whole thing happening here. Stuff phasing through, but obviously it's a 2D simulation, so it's not really supposed to be super realistic. And wow, holy cow, this thing is just gonna merge into one here in a second. Oh! Something made a lot of noise. Okay, it does look like the bow did separate at some point, and I think it's when we heard that loud bang, but there it goes, heading to the bottom, upside down it looks like. Yep, that's quite literally 90 degrees in the air, completely vertical. That is James Cameron movie-style Titanic sinking right there. And it looks like it's on its way down. Well, unfortunately, the SS France was not strong enough to hold up against these massive waves. Now, the real ship probably could hold up against these waves, but unfortunately, in Floating Sandbox, not so much. So let's go ahead and let's spawn in another vessel. How about the SS Rex? Now, this is a ship that I have yet to check out in Floating Sandbox. I have checked it out in Tiny Sailor's World. If you want to see that, there will be a link in the top right corner. But it looks like we already have a major stress fracture at the stern, and there it is. That's it, it's done. It's gonna start sinking immediately here, and it looks like it may break a little more. Look at how much tension and stress is being put on this area. Watch this. Yeah, look at that. That is not good. We do have a little bit of water in the bottom of the vessel, and I'm going to make the assumption that as each wave enters that, well, break in the hull, it's going to start filling up more and more and more until it pulls it down far enough to accelerate the flooding by just constantly entering the separation in the hull. So we'll see how it goes here. Oh boy, and there's more stress fractures. Oh boy, that was a loud noise there. Oh my gosh, the ship has completely fractured there. That was it. That was the final straw. It was the straw that broke the camel's back, essentially. Now, this is why expansion joints are so vital. Now, in massive waves, they may not help as much, but just general flexing of the hull, they are really good on making sure the ship doesn't develop long-term fractures. So, yeah, unfortunately, SS Rex here didn't have an expansion joint, and even if it did, I'm pretty sure it would break at that expansion joint. So, yeah, not super good, but now we're going to see the ship sink. We're getting substantial wind gusts at the current moment, and oh my gosh, the bow is coming right out of the water. Oh boy, that is crazy. So that massive wave that just hit, I think it was because of a gust. Oh no, it's because we're having a thunderstorm right now. Oh yeah, this thing is done. This thunderstorm is going to be the last blow of the ship. Look at that. Oh yeah, it's 100% done at this stage. Oh my gosh, it may just capsize here. Yep, it's capsizing. There it is. Holy cow. So in an alternate universe, the SS Rex is made out of very terrible material and is snapped in half in large waves and then, well, put out of its misery in a thunderstorm. And we did just get another fracture down the hull there, right at the bow. And oh my gosh, is it going to break? Yes, it is. There it is, folks. The ship has broken for a second time, and this time when it went vertical, slightly upside down, there it goes. Holy cow, this thing is being torn apart, basically. The stern is peacefully heading to the bottom, and what the heck? I'm not sure why lightning just went underwater, but it did, and the entire anti-fouling has just separated from the ship. It is being torn to shreds underwater. And hey, look at the bow, it's still above water, but not for long. And there it goes. Bye-bye. Alright, so the next and last ship we're going to take a look at is the RMS Olympic. The RMS Olympic has gone through a few storms in her lifetime before she was scrapped, and we're going to see how she holds up with some waves here. So, unfortunately, our aft mast is gone, but that's okay. We didn't need that anyways. We just won't be able to send out distress signals or anything like that, but if we do happen to have an issue, it's going to be way before we can send out any signals whatsoever. But as you can see, the ship is being rolled around like crazy, and we do have a stress fracture right at the center of the ship, so that's not going to be good for anybody in the lounge, because that's kind of where it is right now on the ship. We're going to see what happens. That stress fracture is growing, and I am starting to see shifting, and that means that we have shearing force up and down, which obviously isn't good, and shearing force is very difficult to cause a break. You really are looking for tension and compression forces to cause a break, at least in a ship hull. So this is going to be a very interesting breakup when it does happen. Oh my gosh, see, that was a compression force right there causing that break. Oh gosh, yep, it's happening. It's happening. This is it. This is what kills the Olympic. Now we've got serious problems. Look at how the deck is shifting and just completely tearing apart. I don't even know if you could repair something like that, and there it is. It's done. Olympic has V-braked and is pulling apart, and I'm going to make the assumption water's going to fill that space and it's going to V-brake. Maybe. We'll see. Oh my gosh, that is a ton of water. Holy cow. At this point, I'm not sure that physics is working properly. But I know that this ship doesn't have long to live. Surprisingly, the double bottom is still holding on. And yeah. Even when the ship does that. Well then, passengers, I would recommend you move your way over to the stern of the bow. That is going to be the safest place for a little while at least, until the ship goes vertical, at least in some direction. Maybe it's going to do the same thing we saw with the SS France, where both ends went vertical and it just dropped downward. One end sinks and then the other end is vertical. We'll see. This shark is like, what are those noises? Let me go up and find out what's going on. Ooh, delicious fish, and oh my gosh. What is happening here? Oh, it is going completely vertical on both ends. And I never thought I would see the day that the bow and the stern sink into the water at the exact same time and go underwater. That has been a variety of ships in heavy waves, breaking in two mostly, sometimes into thirds, as we just saw with the last ship. So, yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and a comment, and I'll see you next time, guys. Goodbye.